but one of the 4 are going to be the ones to take that title home today.
And Lores has been rocking it too, as he should. We've seen it in several, I believe, trials. I don't know if he's been rocking in the other ones. I don't know what he rocks in ranked. I would imagine he's sitting on that Monarch for a while, though, for sure. And we're getting here into Game 1, the Elimination Semifinals. Sandstorm's Mordex against Godly's Rayman. This is what he's going in for right away here in Game 1 against Sandstorm's Mordex.
Wants the Gauntlet versus Gauntlet match, but right now it's Gauntlets versus Axe as Godly picks up the Axe to start this one off. Found a couple more hits than Sandstorm did, but Sandstorm was able to respond in kind.
The sidelight off the stage, beautiful spacing on that. The weapon toss and the fade back just a little bit, making sure he got out of the way of anything, especially that short-range neutral light that Sandstorm threw out. The momentum already is 100% in Godly's favor. A little bit too low for that side air to hit. There's the neutral air. The spot dodge came out after that. He tried to get the neutral signature, expecting Sandstorm to recover high. Sidelight goes for the delayed recovery in the same direction as well.
Okay, sidelight. Godly able to dodge up in time. Right now is kind of that feeling out phase for these dodge read heavy weapons. They're trying to figure out how the opponent reacts. Sandstorm still able to get that wall touch, but doesn't get much after as Godly hits the recovery.
I would say the gauntlets that Godly's using right now are maybe, and you're more familiar with like every skin in the game than I am, given that you work on the game. That's the most Infinity Gauntlet looking one to me that Godly's using.
Okay, I got to see him again when he has them, but he'll have an opportunity to pick him up because he just got KO'd by Sandstorm's Gauntlets at the very least.
And of course, we're here at a Royale, something that Godly has never won before. And he, in his interview, mentioned wanting to collect the Infinity Stones with the Royale victory. Of course, a 1v1 World Championship being the other one that he really hasn't been able to achieve yet. The 2 left empty on his gauntlet.
I do see what you're saying with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, right?
G that's coming out here.
2 gauntlet players really searching for those gauntlet nairs.
Learning how to do this mirror match. Sidelights will work out for Godly so far. Falling dare into the recovery. Godly now with a big lead as Sandstorm is going to have to chip through all of this second stock of Godly before even working on that final one.
And he's sticking with that gauntlet. He was focusing on the Axe in the early stages of the game, got a lot of the momentum in his favor with the Axe early on in the game. Of course, nair into the GCN light. Stayed way far back from the edge. He's worried about how far the neutral air on the side can reach over the corner and still pick you up and turn you around. All of a sudden, your power position turns into a disadvantage state. Oh, Sandstorm!
Is it enough? Yes, it is. Sandstorm, full recognition of the movement options Godly had burned prior to that. Ends up just going back onto the stage, juggling weapons for a hot minute, primed another set of, another scythe, excuse me, but Gauntlets already in the hands of Godly.
I'm sure Sandstorm was also happy in that moment that Godly did have gauntlets in his hands, so he didn't have access to a GC side sig on Axe for movement, or especially the recovery tool Rayman players like to use is the GC in sig, and Godly's going to take that one with less than 50 damage on that final stock. And you can see the lights blinking on the left side. That's because Godly takes Game 1 over Sandstorm.
He is nonplussed about it. He's really like, yep, that happened.
It's so funny because, like, Skeldra basically does the exact same thing when he's on camera, and yet this morning in the Uber, he's the most animated I've ever seen him. He was rambunctious in that thing. And but on camera, he's relatively stoic. We know Godly can go a little bit off the rails as well, but on camera, he is 100% focused. He is 100% stoic, and he is ready to get into this Game 2 now that he is up 1 game against Sandstorm. We're going to Small World's End.
All right, game number 2. Once again, no character swaps on either side. Sandstorm has the scythe this time, but we haven't really gotten to see that Sandstorm scythe pop off too much. Yeah, he was able to take the second stock of Godly with it, but really, it's not quite at the caliber that we're used to seeing from Sandstorm.
Do you think the Ouroboros in the background knows what he's watching right now? You think like he knows that like 2 legends are fighting for their lives here in the elimination bracket at the Spring Royale?
Do you see ants fighting out of the corner of your eyes when you're walking down the street? I think Ouroboros does not care.
That's disrespectful. Me?
It's about the scale.
I put Godly and Sandstorm over whatever that thing is in the back.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Like he's big, don't get me wrong. But like, I'm a gamer. I've taken down big bosses before.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about Battle of the Gods where we got 2 gods on screen.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that.
Sandstorm, first one to take a stock though. Godly, over to the Axe, is going to be looking for a side air. That's the most common KO tool for the Axe players out there, unless you're kinda.
Ooh, and for that side light, almost picked it up, too. Sandstorm is just a little bit too far away from him, adding up more unarmed damage. He stuck around to see if Godly was going to recover over the corner. He could throw out a jump neutral air, or maybe just wait and then hit a neutral light on the ground or something like that, and then he moved over. Once he saw Godly was going to stick to the wall for a second, he was like, I'm going to grab this weapon, so I'm not at weapon disadvantage.
Okay, coming down there. Sandstorm able to hit that down air. Gets a neutral air. There was a burn dodge, so Sandstorm's able to get that two-piece real quick, and Godly still managing to get that wall touch.
Sandstorm has thrown that side light like over the corner a few times now, and it's an interesting choice because a lot of side players will just like, they'll hold it back and they'll be like, I got a D-light. I can throw that out and it doesn't really move me forward at all off of the stage towards my opponent, potentially letting them come through me on stage. All of a sudden we've swapped positions and I'm the one stuck on the wall. So they'll go for that safe option. Meanwhile, Sandstorm has really started to change it up here a little bit. The side light either like towards right on the corner of the stage or actually moving off of the stage like we just saw him do with that side light.
Yeah, I really feel like he thinks the downlight is just too obvious of an option and people are just used to playing around it. But like you said, the pitfall of that decision is that it's kind of easy to get around at times. Godly does manage to get that KO with that axe side air, has his pick of weapons, looks like he wants to stick with the axe.
Ooh, Sandstorm's able to grab that weapon instantly after the unarmed side light, kicking Godly away. Now Godly's over on the wall, gets back on the stage, double air coming out, neutral light as Sandstorm gets behind him. Godly going over on the wall, Sandstorm chasing pretty deep, well below the stage, not off screen, but still very deep. Godly starting to add up the weapon damage, extending his strings and momentum with those weapon tosses, adding just that little bit of stun time, that little bit of momentum shake up from Sandstorm's movement.
Yeah, I mean, the real big thing about that weapon toss for me was just Godly saying, all right, you still can't react. You keep wanting to go for these wake-ups. Well, guess what? I'm still in your face. But now it's a scythe. Godly currently unarmed, avoids the N6. Sandstorm's looking for the KO tool.
Oh, watch out for that weapon toss, that beautiful arc from Sandstorm, and he grabs the next weapon spawn. This one actually favored Godly's side, but Sandstorm and him all of a sudden switched places. Godly just barely holding on, but the side air from Sandstorm, high and left, takes game 2 and ties up the set.
Such a scary spot there. The weapon spawn was on the field, but it was an entire battle over who was going to try to take it. What did you just say?
So I was making the glug noise. I want to do a little bit of Foley work there. For Sandstorm, taking a sip of water, man. I'm about to do the same.
Got to audition. I will say, though, I've noticed Sandstorm has really reined back the signatures. You can see it right here. Only 2 thrown out. In some of his earlier sets, that was one of the things that I personally was not a huge fan of, was he was doing, like, Gauntlet down sig, completely whiffing. He also did, I think, some scythe side sigs that were just getting punished. So I do like that he's kind of reining them back a little bit, but might be something that ends up hurting him as he is going to struggle to get some KOs sometimes.
It seems kind of limited to the, like, in-light in-sig. That was something that, like, Tazza and Flambeau were talking about a lot earlier, or the occasional down sig is like a great punish tool, or just like a raw initiator when he feels very confident that he can hit it and actually secure the KO off of it. And Godly switching Legends, Duke.
Over to the Petra, wants to retain those gauntlets. We've seen a Petra today already do incredibly well after the Rayman wasn't working, and it looks like it's going to happen again as the Gauntlet neutral sig going to take the first stock of game number 3.
I definitely underestimate how good that Gauntlet neutral signature is, and that's probably because we don't see a lot of Petras anymore. Like, obviously, Radish played Petra for years, and then all of a sudden Red Raptor came out, and like maybe we saw it from like Pavelski here and there, maybe a handful of other players playing on the Petras, and Knees sometimes playing on the Petra as well. But I forget how strong the Gauntlet Insig is, because like the light attack kit from Petra is so strong. The recovery coming out, bonk on the head, that is going to be the first stock of Godly gone. It did take over a minute, and Sandstorm is very close to getting into the red. Probably has about 90 damage, or sorry, probably about 130 damage on this stock. If he's not careful, he's going to be red very soon.
Yeah, Sandstorm did take quite a bit of damage, and that's one of the reasons why Godly is likely playing this Petra, is because you're able to trade very efficiently. Recovery going to KO, because Petra is, once again, one of those really high-strength legends. If he gets a couple of hits in, he's going to be outclassing Sandstorm.
Now, we talk about Godly playing, being definitely a Gauntlet player, right? His suite of legends is heavily dominated by Gauntlet legends, except here on this stock, he opted into the Orb. Maybe he wants that initial range. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with the Gauntlet mirror match against Sandstorm. He probably feels more comfortable about Scythe into Orb compared to Scythe into Gauntlets. There is a spawn on the field right now. Sandstorm's going to be looking for it. Is Godly going to strip it? He's going to let him have it after getting hit by that neutral air.
I think he's comfortable right now. He does have an extra stock behind this, so as long as he's finding these taps onto Sandstorm, he's once again just going to be pushing himself towards victory. Another side light, side air as Sandstorm peeks over the corner. Going to punish the whiffed down heavy, but Godly has plenty of movement. Oh, he sweat beads. That's going to be a KO, but can Sandstorm do this?
Juggling the weapons to delay the weapon spawn for as long as possible, but Godly lands and instantly sidelights at a recovery frame. Sandstorm went for the Hail Mary there, still able to get back. Godly wasn't able to put too much pressure on him. He went back to the main platform in order to pick up that set of gauntlets. Another neutral light has Sandstorm very much in the red, and the neutral signature on Sandstorm's recovery over the corner. Godly now up 2-1.
Yeah, Sandstorm, I feel like he's going for the common options on those corners, right? Like, he's doing a lot of things to try to catch someone as they peek up, and they aren't working against Godly. And then on the other side, Godly's doing essentially the same thing, but they are catching Sandstorm. He's sliding up the corner just a little bit too much, or he's recovering a little too high in those very obvious situations, and he's getting caught by the NSYNC. He's getting caught as he peeks over those corners. It's going to be interesting to see how these corner guards end up playing out. As we get into game number 4, Sandstorm fighting to play for a game 5.
Godly not swapping on win, and the stage is going to stay the same as well. Sandstorm grabs first weapon, gets quite a few hits here already on Godly, but Godly answers back, almost instantly equalizing the damage here. Now that he's got a weapon, is he going to take the stock as well? Sandstorm dipping under the stage so he doesn't get hit by the weapon toss. GC down heavy and the down air confirming the stock. Godly, oh my goodness.
What an edge guard from Godly, completely turning this situation on its head, and now Godly just has to maintain this lead that he has built for himself, and he is going to be marching into the top 3 with the podium spot.
Grabbing the nair there, interrupting the recovery from Sandstorm. There's the side air, sending Godly over to the edge. Sandstorm, of course, making sure to touch those toes on main platform to reset his jumps, and then instantly moving over to the side. Picks up the recovery high, but that defense from Petra coming in, allowing Godly to stay on this first stock. Even that neutral light not going to send off screen. Godly might have a little bit of room to go. Sandstorm with the D-light. Godly gets behind him, and there's the ground pound. No way. Does he confirm the edge guard here again with a GC down heavy? And another GC down heavy.
Sandstorm running out of options, dodges away, but he gets back onto the wall, but he's taking so much damage here once again.
Close.
Godly with the discos. He's going to keep going for it. He knows it.
All right, dude. Relax a little bit. Have some respect for the legend that you're playing against with all those down heavies. It really is such a strong tool on the edge. I've started using that a lot more to confirm those KOs because, like, you know, D-Light ground pound, it can be, for a player like me with execution issues, I can struggle to hit that a few times, but GC down heavy, so good. All those active frames covers both sides. You don't have to worry about the timing as much. Okay, the ladder into the air.
Not going to lead to a KO, but it is good damage, but it's not enough damage as Godly hits the side air. Sandstorm on potential tournament stock here.
Sandstorm's going to have to find something really quick. He's going to start this one off with the gauntlets. Does have Godly in the orange. Let's see how his spacing is against this orb, man. The flurry of orb attacks. Grabbing to the sideline into the neutral air here.
Ooh, missing that down air there. Over to the scythe again. The comfort weapon of Sandstorm hits the down air. Godly does have movement here. Nice patience from Sandstorm. Gravity cancel, neutral light into the neutral air, but once again, Godly's up there.
That's dodge burn.
Goes for dodge.
Oh, beautiful down air off the wall. Sweat beats coming out from Sandstorm. He gets around Godly's GCD light.
Oh, the clash out. He still touches. Once again, Godly going for those down heavy. Sandstorm with the far weapon toss. The recovery's not going to quite do it. Neutral air, that's not going to KO.
And he turned that neutral air around. It's really starting to end here. The darkness is closing in. The tunnel vision is closing in. Sandstorm's path to victory is getting narrower and narrower. Spreads out just a little bit after he hits the unarmed recovery for the KO off the top, but he has to play flawlessly against an opponent that he is currently losing to.
This is where champions are made. If Sandstorm can get this victory, can he clutch this here and get us a game 5? No, he cannot. Godly is going to finish it with the recovery, and that means Godly is going to be going into the top 3.
Sandstorm is going to finish in 4th place here. A little bit of chit-chat between two of the best